So the rule of thumb that we would follow is whether we are considering the past or observing the now or imagining the future, it would be our intention to be finding the best feeling thought that we could find about whatever subject that we're focused upon. You can literally, in your powerful now, recreate your past. You can go back to experiences that you've lived before and rethink them and leave them in better feeling places. Because do you know that every experience that you lived through is left right where you last left it vibrationally? And that's what we meant earlier when we said, as you live something and you observe it and you have a knee-jerk feeling response to it, and you just let yourself feel it without deliberately directing your mind, you offer a vibration about it, and then when you remember it, most people go right back to the vibration that was there before. And then when they remember it again, they go right back to the vibration that was before and that they remembered before, until before you know it, you have an addiction thought. In other words, you have a thought that you've thought so many times that you have established a vibrational pattern so that when you think about that, you return right to that vibration. And if something comes up occasionally, and it is annoying when it comes up, we would take the time to clean it up, but we would understand why, since it only comes up occasionally, and there are so many other things in your now that you are giving positive attention to. So this annoying thing that comes up occasionally is not a big player in your vibration. But if there's someone in your life that just annoys the life out of you, if there's some memory that just haunts you, that you've been carrying around for a very long time, and it's painful when it comes up, and it comes up often, we would take that bull by the horns and we would write about it. We would script about it. We would think about it. We would move it up the emotional scale. In fact, in the newest book that we have written, there is a process that we call closing the vibrational gap. And what it is about, literally, is recognizing in this moment that I'm having an emotion that does not feel good, and recognizing that in this moment that I'm feeling this emotion that does not feel good, that I am giving my attention to something that I do not want. Because it is always true, as I maintain this not good feeling thought, I'm marching toward a manifestation. And it will manifest, and when I get there, I'm not going to like it. If I have a good feeling, I'm marching toward a manifestation, and when I get there, I am going to like it. And you can tell by the way you feel whether you're marching towards something wanted or not. So if we were standing in your physical shoes and we had an awareness of negative emotion, we would stop and say, well, I know clearly what I don't want. What is it that I do want? And we would do our best to state it. And you never know more clearly what you do want than when you're having that emotion that reminds you that you don't want it. So we would make the statement, even though the statement would be empty, hollow words, because after all, we've got a thought addiction. We've already practiced this thought. It's come up before. It's a strong thought. But still, we're using the power of our mind right now to at least acknowledge, all right, this is the most active vibration on this subject. I can feel that it is a negative response that I'm having to it. I know I don't like it, and I know I don't want it, and I know that eventually it's going to lead to more that I don't want. And so I'm going to take this opportunity to at least make a step in the right direction by saying, I know what I don't want. What is it that I do want? So I've made the statement. Now, I know what I do want. Now, source energy already knew what I wanted and is already over there with it and is already offering a vibration about it. But that doesn't help me out all that much, because my inner being, source energy, can't drag me by the hair over there. All source energy can do is offer the vibration about it. And here I am actively involved here, and now I've sort of involved in a vibration there. So this one's really throbbing. This one's just beginning to glitter a little bit for me. In other words, I have this vibration going on within me, and this is what's dominant. And now I'm aware that I want to feel better. I don't feel better. I want to feel better, but I don't feel better. I want to feel better, but I don't feel better. I want to feel better, but I don't feel better. Hey, I feel just a little better, just wanting to feel better. And now I acknowledge that I can feel better. I don't feel all that good, but I know I could feel better. And further, I've been listening to Abraham for a while, so I know that is the work. So I say, I'm not going to try to jump over there. That's futile. I can't make that jump any more than I can hear 630 on my radio dial when I'm set at 98.7. In other words, I know I can't make that vibrational jump, but I could move a little. And since I know I want to be there, I think I'll make an effort to move in the right direction. And so now the process that we've written in the book, and Esther sits and writes when she comes across something like that, is to begin making statements with the effort of just somehow softly, subtly slightly improving the way I feel. Just a little bit. Just sit until I feel just a little bit better. And so she begins to write. And as she writes, at first, she doesn't feel any better at all. In other words, it's just same old, same old. In fact, it's almost aggravating because I'm working on this thing that I want that I don't have. But as she writes, maybe even for only a minute or two, she'll feel a little movement. She'll feel just the slightest bit better. And in the moment that slight, soft releasing of the negative emotion, the tension of the negative emotion happens, Esther always smiles and says, I've moved it. I'm on the right track. And almost without exception, a feeling of pride or a job well done begins to wash over her. And then she says something that we've been teaching all of you for a very long time. She says, I have moved my point of attraction. Something that has been in a very strong place for a very long time, that I haven't even consciously known was there maybe, I have deliberately moved to a new place. And you know what that means? That means that everything in the universe is now going to respond to her in a slightly different way because of that 2-minute effort that she made, you see. Now she's sort of got a little momentum going. Now she's feeling proud of herself. Now, as she reaches further for something that feels a little better, now it's easier. The next effort is easier, and the next effort is easier. And often, within 10 or 15 minutes, Esther can move herself into a whole new vibration. And in doing so, something that she's been dragging around for years is now vibrationally different. Now, does that mean that it will never come up again? No. Because other people are out there still living it, and she's still out there, as you said, observing things. So there's a very good possibility, since there's some activity still present in her vibration, that something's going to happen and she's going to see it again. But this time when she sees it, it won't take her there on the emotional scale. It'll take her there. In other words, it'll be a frustrating experience rather than an angry experience, for example. And now, if she's smart, she won't live the rest of her life with it in a vibration of frustration. She'll do the same thing. She'll say, well, I know what I don't want. What is it that I do want? And from this surer place of a more close crack or gap, she will reach for the thought that feels better, and she might bring herself all the way again into a place of feeling better. And usually it happens much quicker. And this time she's feeling good faster and proud of herself for having cleaned it up a little more. And now, does that mean it's gone forever? Probably not, because people are still out there living it. She's still out there having experiences with people. But eventually, she will have cleaned that up so much that when it happens again, instead of feeling frustration or anger or discouragement or disempowerment about it, she'll feel mild amusement about it. Because it won't be threatening her well-being. It's not threatening her freedom. Do you know the only thing that ever really threatens your freedom is something that makes you feel like you're going to feel bad and you can't control it? That is the only thing, that's the only thing that ever threatens your freedom. It's the feeling that something will happen which will cause a response from you that you will not be able to control. And once you've had a few treks deliberately up this emotional scale, once you've closed that gap on purpose a few times, you begin to feel so invincible that now you're not afraid to go out in the world. And now it doesn't hurt you when you see things that are vibrationally so different from you. And as you see them, while you may have a tender heart about them, and you may wish that the person wasn't having to live it, it won't drag you into the depths of despair, because you will understand that not only you can create your own reality, but that one can too. And through the power of your example, perhaps if they want it, and if they can get somewhere in the vibrational vicinity of that which you are about, you could teach them how they can live a constant, joyous life also, you see.